is it? And she was like, well, the base is in Huntington Beach, California. And I was like, no.
Yeah.
No, it's not. Like, you're kidding. And, you know, I hadn't told her any of that. So, like, my jaw just dropped. I was like, what?
Wow.
And so she, like, continues on, and she was like, yeah, so it's a lot like YWAM. They do the 3.5 months in Huntington Beach with a DTS, and she's like, and then the next 3.5 months you travel around the country, and she's like, into different colleges, and
is it all over the country in like the United States?
Yeah, so there are over 300 schools in the United States that we go to.
So like for your outreach, like I was gonna ask you, I was like, are you gonna be going to a particular part of the world? But it's just the United States.
Yeah, it's the U.S. Well, right now it's just the U.S. They are starting to do international.
Yeah.
But this next like spring will just be the United States and
okay,
different
cool.
colleges but yeah, so she said different colleges, and then she like paused and she's like, actually, they started doing high schools too, and I was like,
yep.
Okay.
That's
cool.
where the public speaking comes in.
Well, here we go. Here's the next part. So then I like go home and I'm like researching this. It's like funny too because I literally looked up like when I looked up circuit riders, I did like wrote like WRITERS, like if you're like writing, but it's like RIDERS. And so I was like, that tells you how much I knew about it. Like I had no idea. Right. And so I started like looking, and the 3 tracks are media, music, and then it was message, and it literally talked about like speaking, and it talked about like sharing your testimony. I was like, okay, you're literally kidding me right now. I was like, that covered connecting with people on a deep level, that covered traveling and seeing new things. She talked about like art and how like they're very art oriented. That's like a big part of the school. It's just kind of the center of it anyways. And then I was like, that covers like high school ministry, that covers like even Huntington Beach. Like that's not even something I felt called to, but it was like the tiniest bit, like a tiny detail that like the Lord kind of threw in there that I was like, how in the world did all this happen? Like all of it in one thing. And so I like started praying about it a lot, and I ended up applying for it. And it's funny, the guy that interviewed me is actually the guy that started the high school ministry at Circuit Riders. And I was like, what are the odds of that? Like, because when we were talking, he was like, wait, you know that we do high school ministry? And I was like, yeah, that's why I'm here. Like, that's like why I'm like applying for this. And he was like, no way. Like, we just started this a few years ago. Like, my wife and I have been really pushing this, and we're looking for like people who feel called into this like high school ministry to be a part of it with us, to grow it. And I was like, cool, well, I'm here for that. Like, nice. And so that was just pretty crazy, another thing. So I know like getting accepted and everything, and then that was in March actually. And I ended up talking to my parents, and my parents weren't very excited about it. They were very like on board for it, just because they're like, you know, you're 18, you're moving across the country.
Are you 18?
Yeah.
Wow. So girl, let me tell you something. You're young. You're like,
I know. I'm a baby.
If you get a plan together, like you've got plenty of time. I'm telling you.
Oh,
like
I know. Yeah.
As somebody that's like about to be in like their late 20s.
Yeah.
You're solid.
Yeah. And that's the thing, you know, because it's like everyone's like, what? Like, you're not going to the school? And I'm like, well, first of all, I'm actually young for my like grade, so I like am technically the age of like current freshman in college. But
when did you start college?
I was 17 for the first month of school.
I may have just been old or held back, like, I don't know how many years, but I was like 19 going on 20.
I was young. I mean, it was funny because my birthday's in September, and like, everyone was like, happy 19th birthday, and I was like, yeah, I'm 18, I think. So
holy
like,
crap.
And I get a lot younger than everybody like expects, which is just funny. But but that's part of it. Is I was like, you know, like, I have time. Like, even if I do this, I'll technically be like on track with the people that are like
you've got plenty
my
of time.
age. So that is also very, helpful aspect of it. But yeah, so I had talked to my parents a little bit about it, and they were just like, it was just hard for them to be okay with their 18-year-old daughter moving across the country to a place that they had know nothing about. And for me, but I was like, but like God's calling me to this. Like, look at all these different things that have happened. Yeah. Like, I'm so excited. And so like moving forward, I like hadn't started fundraising because I didn't like. I just wanted to honor them like best that I could.
Yeah.
And so I like talked to like multiple people and just try to get some like insight on, you know, how to like go about that, because and like so many people were like, are you gonna do it like even if your parents like say no because you're like 18? And I'm like, I haven't even like really thought about that, because I was so sure that is what God's calling me to, that I knew they were gonna come around at some point. I just didn't really know when. Like, I knew like it would be in its time, because. So
was there any like no, Maya, you're not doing this, or?
It was really interesting.
What were their main like concerns or worries?
Their main concerns were like, one, it's California, and so like LA. LA is a little bit like crazy, you know. So that was one of their main concerns. Another one was, you know, I wouldn't be in school, and it was like, well, are you gonna go back to school, or you just, you know, like, what are you gonna do about that? Like, practical things like, what about this, and what about this and that? And so, you know, I think they saw it from more of a practical standpoint, which I needed, because, you know, I was like in this place where like, let's go.
I think you know, it's definitely important to like have a plan and stuff. Like, letting God take control of like all the circumstances is definitely like priority number one. But like, you know, I talk to people who, you know, sometimes they'll want to do something pretty radical on a whim, and I'm like, you know, what is gonna, do you have any contingency plans for anything, or are you just kind of like just free falling into this? But I mean, I totally get it with your parents and everything too, because California is a rough place too.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, that's where I was at too. So I was like, I can't say that I like get it, because I'm not a parent and I don't know what it's like to have your kid move across the country. But I can say that I like understood why they were hesitant. Because. And that was like a little bit hard, because I was so excited about it, but I didn't want to understand why they were hesitant. But I did like understand their view. Not that I understood how it felt, but so I like prayed about that for months, and I had talked to different people, and you know, because I was talking about like the verse like honor your mother and father, and I was like, okay, what does that mean? What does it mean for me to honor my mother and father? Like, how do I do that yet honor God at the same time and what He's calling me to? And so the Greek word that they use for honor in that scripture actually means to give weighty consideration to. So it doesn't necessarily mean like do what your parents say. It means heavily consider like their concerns, their opinions, their thoughts and feelings. Like, really like deep down consider that and feel that and like think through that. But over that, God is like the most important, in honor.
Me and my mom are gonna have a serious conversation. I'm just playing, because she always pulls that on me. She's like, "You're supposed to honor me, you know that." And I'm like,
okay,
but
and I mean that was what it is too, because like, you know, we use all, because, and this is about to sound like super, you know, like nerdy and whatnot, but like there's so many words that were used in the original translation of like the Bible that we don't have that word that really completely matches it now in our language. And so that's why I really like to like study that side of like scripture, to know what those words really mean and like the context of the word. And so that, because that really does change your whole perspective on that verse, because you're like, yes, of course I'm supposed to honor my mother and father, and like really consider like what they're calling me to, or not calling me to, but what they're like, what they're concerned about and things. But of course I'm supposed to honor God and consider what He's calling me to over that. So there is a way to do both, because where I was at is I was like, how am I supposed to do both of those? Like how am I supposed to like honor God, honor my parents. I don't get it. And so whenever I finally came to that, like, understanding, which was actually, so the people that I was talking about originally, who were getting married and all that, so I was actually with them months later, and he was the one that, like, told me that and, like, brought that up. And so it's kind of funny. It's really cool to see how they were, like, a part of that story of my story, like, over and over again. They're amazing, and I love them and adore them.